Most people don't realize this. But the reason you feel overlooked, ignored, or taken for granted isn't bad luck. And it isn't because the world is unfair. It's because, in ways that feel completely normal to you, you're making yourself easy. Easy to read, easy to pressure, easy to predict, and ultimately easy to control. That's a hard truth to accept, because the behaviors causing it don't feel like weakness. They feel like being a good person, being understanding, being patient, being open. But to someone who knows how people work, those traits, when unchecked, don't signal strength. They signal access. Access to your time, your emotions, your reactions. And once someone has access to those things, control doesn't require force. It becomes automatic. The Stoics understood this at a level most people never reach. They didn't just talk about discipline or calmness. They talked about control in the purest sense. What is yours and what is not. Your thoughts, your reactions, your decisions, these belong to you. Everything else does not. But here's where most people go wrong. They don't lose control because someone takes it. They lose it because they hand it over piece by piece without even realizing it. Every time you over-explain yourself, you give someone leverage. Every time you rush to respond, you show them they can affect you. Every time you seek validation, you tell them your sense of self depends on their approval. And once that pattern is visible, people don't need to manipulate you directly. Your behavior does it for them. Think about how quickly you respond when someone messages you. Think about how often you feel the need to justify your decisions, even when you don't owe anyone an explanation. Think about how easily your mood shifts based on how someone else treats you. None of these feel like weaknesses in isolation, but together they form a pattern that says, my state is influenced by you. And once that's clear, the dynamic changes. You are no longer operating from control. You are reacting. And the person who reacts is always one step behind. This is why people who seem calm, distant, or hard to read often command more respect without saying much at all. It's not because they're cold. It's because they are not easily moved. Their reactions are not available on demand. Their attention is not easily captured. And their approval is not freely given. That creates a kind of resistance. And resistance forces people to adjust their behavior around them. That's real power. Not loud, not aggressive, but controlled. The kind of control that doesn't need to prove itself. Right now, you might be recognizing parts of this in yourself. And if you are, that's not a bad thing. It means you're starting to see the pattern. Most people never do. They stay stuck wondering why the same situations keep happening to them, why the same types of people keep taking advantage, why they always feel slightly behind in interactions. But awareness changes everything. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's where the shift begins. If this is already hitting something for you, take a second to like the video and drop a comment with the word aware. It sounds simple, but it reinforces the exact shift we're talking about. You're no longer passive. You're paying attention. And that alone puts you ahead of most people. Now here's the part most people won't tell you. Becoming harder to control doesn't mean becoming cold or distant for the sake of it. It means becoming deliberate. It means choosing when to respond instead of reacting instantly. It means speaking because you've decided to, not because you feel pressured to. It means understanding that silence, in many situations, carries more weight than explanation. The Stoics believed that unnecessary words were often a sign of internal instability, not because speaking is bad, but because the need to fill space usually comes from discomfort, and discomfort is something others can use. When you learn to sit in that space without rushing to fix it, you change the dynamic completely. Imagine someone tries to provoke you, and instead of reacting, you stay still. No visible shift, no emotional giveaway, just calm. That moment forces them to reassess. Because the expected outcome didn't happen, and when expectations break, control weakens. The same applies to your availability. If you are always available, always responsive, always accommodating, you train people to expect that from you. And once something is expected, it loses value. But when your time is controlled, when your attention is selective, it changes how people approach you. Not because you're playing games, but because you're no longer giving access without thought. You're choosing. At this point, you might be thinking, so I just need to pull back from everything? No, that's not the answer. The answer is precision. You can be kind without being easy. You can be open without being predictable. You can be understanding without sacrificing your position. But that requires awareness in the moment, not after the fact. It requires you to pause and ask, why am I responding this way? Is it because you genuinely want to, or because you feel like you have to? Around halfway through this video, there's something worth saying clearly. If you're the kind of person who values this level of thinking, who wants to understand people, control yourself, and move through life with more awareness, then subscribe. Not for motivation, not for quick fixes, but for clarity. Because that's what changes everything. Clarity removes confusion. And once confusion is gone, control becomes a lot harder to take from you. Going deeper into this, one of the most overlooked ways people give up control is through emotional transparency at the wrong time. Not honesty, but timing. If someone can read exactly how you feel in every moment, they don't need to guess. And if they don't need to guess, they can adjust their behavior to influence you more easily. That doesn't mean you should hide everything. It means you should understand when your emotions serve you and when they expose you. The Stoics practice this constantly, not by suppressing emotion, but by observing it, creating space between what they felt and how they acted. That space is where control lives. Because without it, everything becomes automatic. Someone says something, you react. Something happens, your mood shifts. A situation changes, your behavior follows. But with that space, you choose. And the moment you choose, you're no longer easy. Another thing to understand is that people don't test strength directly. They test boundaries. Small things at first. How quickly you respond, how much you tolerate, how easily you adjust. And each time you give in without thinking, the boundary moves. Slightly at first, then more. Until eventually, you're operating far outside what you would normally accept, and you don't even remember where it started. But when you start holding those boundaries, calmly and consistently, the pattern breaks. Not through confrontation, but through stability. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to justify it. You just maintain it. And over time, people either adjust to it or they move away. Both outcomes work in your favor. If you've made it this far, drop a comment saying control. Not for engagement, but because writing it reinforces the shift you're making. You're moving from reaction to awareness. from automatic behavior to deliberate action. And that's where everything changes. At the end of this, the message is simple, but not easy. You are only as controllable as your reactions are predictable. If people can predict how you'll respond, they can influence you. If your emotions are always visible, they can be used. If your behavior is always consistent in a reactive way, it can be shaped. But when you become less predictable, more deliberate, more aware of what you give and when you give it, the dynamic shifts. You don't need to dominate. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to stop making it easy. And once you do that, you'll notice something interesting. The same situations that used to drain you shift. The same people who used to take advantage adjust. Not because they've changed, but because you have. And when you change the way you show up, you change what people can do with you. That's the real power behind Stoic thinking. Not just staying calm, but staying in control of what actually belongs to you. And once you understand that, truly understand it, you're no longer easy.